Good afternoon and happy Sunday. It is such a blessing to be here today on Let's Talk About It with two amazing, I know we said four, but due to scheduling and prior engagements, our other two guests will come back with us at a later time. However, today I'm super, super excited. I have two of the best people to end off Women's History Month. And one of them I am so excited to see today. You always hear me talk about this person. I always talk about this person, especially when it comes to my schooling at Wilberforce. She is one of my favorite, I will say this again. She is one of my favorite pupils, professors, doctors, however you want to name it for her. Dr. Tanya Moore is with us today, and I'm so glad she's here. And we also have one of my friends from, oh goodness, we go way back. One of my friends from, I want to say elementary, middle, and high school, Shantae Costin is with us today as well. So these two ladies are here. They're going to share their educational journey and their journey to success with us. And they're also going to tell you a bit about themselves. And I would like to personally welcome Dr. Tanya Moore and Shantae Costin to Let's Talk About It Sunday. So either order that you want to go in, ladies, either order, you can go first. Whoever chooses to go first.
Dr. Moore, did you want to go first?
It's up to you.
Or I'll let Dr. Moore start first.
Okay.
I want to say hello to everyone who has joined us, and it certainly is a pleasure to be here. I've been an instructor at Wilberforce University for 25 years, and I have to tell you, it has been a pleasure and one of the best times of my life. We have students, I believe, at Wilberforce that are second to none. They're considerate, they're polite, they're intelligent, they believe in what they are doing, and they believe in Wilberforce, and they become great alums. So again, it's just been my pleasure to have been able to bloom where I was planted, which is here professionally at Wilberforce University. I started out I went to Ohio State University, and I received my master's and my undergraduate degree at the Ohio State University School of Journalism. Then I went to work. I've worked for WBIE Radio in Marietta, Georgia. I've worked for the television station in Columbus. I think it's WBNS. I know it is. I've worked for several newspapers, including doing some stringing, what we call stringing, for the Atlanta Constitution. I've worked at Reader's Digest and at Central State University in their public relations department. And then I joined Wilberforce University, and as I said, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. I received my doctorate at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, and I taught there for 5 years, and then I came here. I had my daughter, I got married, and just, as I said, my journey has just been remarkable, and I'm thanking God for that. I want to start talking about what success is. It gave me a chance to think about it, because every step of the way on my journey, I think, had it not been for my background, how I was raised, I may not be sitting where I am now and enjoying life to the degree that I am. And I love life. And we say in our congregation, I love life and life loves me. And I need you to know that you can love life no matter what you are experiencing right now. You can love life and life can love you. And most of all, you can be successful. God created us all to be successful. It says that when you open up the good book, He created us in his own image and his own likeness. And every bit of power that God has, he placed in you. So when we talk about it was our mandate to be successful, to do the things that we can do to live an abundant, victorious life. So success, I would start out by saying, is what you want and what you make it to be. It is the accomplishment of your purpose and your aims in life. And if you haven't thought about that right now, do you know even at my age, I'm still thinking about what's next? What is it I want to do? And I've got some aims and purposes that I must tell you, I plan to accomplish. You're never too old to make plans. You're never too young not to have plans. So that's important. If you're going to be successful, it starts right here. And it starts right here in your mind and in your heart. So I want all of us to be successful and think of being victorious over our conditions in life. If you are experiencing, I would say, health, happiness, love, peace, a mind not steeped in conflict and confusion, if you're not frustrated by want and or need, if you're not trapped in the dungeon of depression and disbelief, you might consider yourself to have success at your gate. If you are experiencing some degree of prosperity, you can pay your bills. If you've got affluence, if you've got financial abundance, if you have adventure in this moment, joy in your heart, you probably feel that you have found success or some measure of success already. And I have to tell you that you have. To become successful, you have to first define, what does success mean to me? Think about that. Consider right now, are you where you want to be? Are you traveling in the direction that you want to travel in? What have you decided you want to do in the future? And what steps are you taking to make these things a reality? It's never, as I said, too late to consider a new life for you, a new direction. And if you aren't enjoying where you are, if you don't feel successful, that's okay, because you can change it. As I said, that power of life, that ability, that talent is already in you. I feel I am on a number of fronts, and I want to share this with you. And most of these fronts are not limited to my financial standing. My feeling successful also does not necessarily just hinge upon what I have achieved professionally. Although what I have achieved in my life has hugely impacted my life. It's brought me great joy. It has contributed immensely to my sense of well-being. These areas of success, personal, financial, are indeed important. But I want to tell you something else. I feel successful because I have achieved a number of proficiencies and affirmations, if you will, to what I set out to do. I've been affirmed in them. I've achieved them only by depending on God. I'm successful most of all in my mind because I've honestly tried all my life to love God, to love myself, and to love my fellow man. I learned that long time ago. I couldn't always do it. I didn't always do it, but I learned it. I learned that we are to demonstrate the goodness of God and who God is, because we've got God's nature in us. In everything we do, we should demonstrate this. It hasn't been easy, as I said. And sometimes I thought it was just darn near impossible to do. Not by power, nor by might, but by my spirit, it is written. All by my spirit, said the Lord, it is written. Although discouraged and dismayed at many, many points in my life, I refused to give up. And I forged ahead despite the hardships, despite the heartache. I didn't quit. And most times I refused to take no for an answer when I felt it should have been yes. Looking back, the tenacity that God put within me was a lifeline. It was a lifeline to my arriving at the place of my life where I am now. And it can be for you too. It was a lifeline to the joy and commitment that I now enjoy right now. Right now. I couldn't always say that. With all modesty, I do say, however, that it's a joy to thank God that He has blessed me down through the years to become the person that I am. Not a perfect person by far. But you know what gives me hope? It said to be ye perfect, even as your God in heaven is perfect. I'm grateful that God has guided my steps. And as I tell you, I could say something else, but when I look back, nobody but God brought me to the point, and my belief in Him brought me to this point. I thank God for all that He has allowed me to do, that He told me I could be successful on all fronts. In a major area, for instance, I feel happy and successful that God blessed me with a wonderful family life, a great husband, and a marvelous daughter. When I was about 15 years old, and I remember this, and I tell this a lot. When I was 15, I woke up in a dream, and the Lord said, "What is it you would have of me?" Now, again, we had to go to church all the time. Yeah, I must tell you. We went to church Wednesday, Sunday. We were there. When my mother, with 10 kids, she dragged all of us to the church. But I remember waking up from a dream, and God said, "What would you have of me to do for you?" And I said, "God, I want 3 things. I want a good family life, a life that was stable. In other words, one where I didn't feel hunger anymore. I didn't feel cold when we didn't have heat and when the lights were out. I wanted a life where I didn't have to worry about living in a rough neighborhood and running with the wrong crowd and doing all the things that I know I shouldn't have been doing. I wanted a life that was stable where I was not being afraid all the time, worried all the time, going around my mother to make sure she was all right and not crying." So I asked God to help me with that. Thirdly, I asked Him to give me a good husband. I had read somewhere that they said, isn't this something? One of your secrets to success was to find a good mate. Now, this is 15 years old. I said, "So God, give me a good husband to share my life with." It wasn't until my stepfather, Jimmy, we called him Jimmy, came into our lives that I felt safe, that I felt even a little bit secure, that I found that I didn't have to have the nightmares that I had when I was a child. He came in and just turned everything around for us. He was a rock for my mother. I won't even tell you the kind of life she went through. My oldest sisters, what things we did, they did, and what things I saw growing up that I didn't want for myself. And the third thing, additionally, that I asked God for, I told God, "Please, let me have a little bit of money. Where I didn't have to struggle so hard, where I didn't have to wear shoes where the bottoms were coming out, or I didn't have to shop at the Goodwill store to get certain things that, again, we needed, where I didn't have to struggle so hard financially." There was a time when we lived above a bar on 7725 Superior Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. I'll never forget it. The bartender didn't keep the bar like he was supposed to. So we would have cockroaches that would run from the bar, all the food that they would leave out to upstairs. It was a time for us to just keep everything. And I tell you, my mother, she taught us how to cook and how to clean. But it was a time. But I said, God, let me have some money so I can live decently, where I can have what I needed to have. And I want to tell all of you that my definition of success was when he did those three things for me. And he did. My pastor many, many years ago told me, he told the congregation really, that if we trusted in God and leaned not until our own understanding, that God himself would direct our path. You know I wanted that. The great man upstairs directing my path, because every day we have a choice of what it is we're going to do. Every day we have a choice as to whether or not we're going to succeed or fail. My mother would always tell me, Tanya, nothing beats a failure but a try. That was in my heart. God would direct our path, and he can. I believe that with all my heart. I looked for that. I expected that. And when I made choices that were not in line with what I knew, what I knew I needed to do, boy, it would just tear me up, and I'd get back in line. I tell you, when I think about it, I say this all the time in my church too. I could have gone a totally different way, totally different route, based upon the people that I was involved with. My best friend became a prostitute. My best friend. She was held up in an apartment over there on St. Clair, and this pimp beat her half to death and told her that he liked her friend Tanya, and it was her job to get me to do what she did. It's just so much, as I said, I could have seen, that I could have done, that I saw in my life. But I believe that God would direct my footsteps, and I had to make the choice. But it was up to me. I had to make the choice as to what I was going to do and what I wasn't going to do. And one of the things I decided to do was to go to college. That was going to be one of my way outs. My mother would always tell her kids, if you do anything, do for me, just finish high school. And if you can, go to college. You need to go to college. She went to college for 1 year. We talk about opportunities and what we can do. It was hard for our forefathers and our parents, the generations before us, to go to school. It became a little bit easier when I went to school. But she said, always get that first degree. She had to come out of Knoxville College after the first year because her father, who was a coal miner, worked in the mines of West Virginia. And he lost his job because they closed that mine down, and he had to come home. She said that was the most bitter winter she had ever spent. She had to come home. She never got back to college again. When she told me that story, it brought tears to my eyes. And I said, I'm going to do it, Mama. I'm going to do it for you. And I'm going to do it for me. I'd always be the child who was by the mother's side, holding on to her legs and all of this. But being so, I also saw a lot of things happen between her and my father that probably scarred me for life. So I thank God for granting that for me. But college was not an option for me. It was a requirement. And I'm so glad. I went to Ohio State University, as I said. I finished in 3 years. I did my master's there. Then I did a second master, 1 master's in journalism, 1 master's in Black literature. Then I worked for 9 years, and then I went back to get my doctorate at Ohio University in the School of Journalism. And I tell you, all the time I had to work my way. I'll never forget my first year in college. My mother sent me an envelope with a $5 bill in it when I was a freshman. And that was like $1 million to me. Again, just tears everywhere. And I remember taking that money and holding on to it. I had to wash my clothes. I had to do everything. I was working in the math department. But man, that money that my mother gave me, I'll never forget it. So I think of, again, the choices I could have made. It was rough. It was tough. We were at Ohio State University. There were only 97 of us out of 50,000 students. But we all banded together and we survived. But that was a good choice that I made, and I hung in there, even when I didn't have. When it came to doing my master's, I hung in there. I got a teaching associate and things got better. I remember writing my master's thesis in Ohio. What we have a university is called University Hall. And it was a holiday near Christmas. And I was up on the 7th floor of University Hall. My sister had let me use her Volkswagen, and it was downstairs. And I looked down these 7 out of the window. Nobody was around. Nobody was on campus. And there was the car covered with snow. And I just felt so lonely. I don't know when I felt that lonely in my life, but I survived it. There are many instances when I was in school that things did not go my way, that I messed up in terms of doing homework or assignment. When it came to my doctorate, I got to the last chapter, the very last chapter. I was burned out. I was tired. I wanted to go home to see my husband. I had gotten an apartment down in Athens to stay so I could concentrate. Something I did, and you guys don't have all of this now, and I've done that lately too. When you lose a file, back then they had these old big machines that you used. And some kind of way I didn't save that chapter. I didn't save it. It must have been about almost 40-something pages that came out of my head through suffering. And I lost it. Well, I lost it for sure, because I wasn't going to finish. I said, that's it. This is the end of it. I'm tired. I'm sick of it. I'm not going. It took me 2 weeks to resume my activities. Talked to my pastor. I talked to my sisters and brothers. Spoke to just my mom. My mother said, Tanya, you cannot quit. Spoke to my husband. Was I married at that time? Yes, I was. So to make a long story short, I got back in the saddle. And everything, had all my stuff ready for me. And I started again. That was the heaviest burden, academic burden, I believe I've ever endured. Trying to start again. Luckily, again, all the other 6 chapters were done, and I hadn't given it to my committee yet, but I started again. I wouldn't be sitting here right now relating this story to you had I given up. Had I thought, which I did, that I would never start again. And I can't tell you the benefits of having a doctorate. I've been everywhere. I've done lots of things. I've presented papers. I've been on committees that I never would have been on had I not had the credentials and the degree that I have, that I earned, that I worked for. You talk about success. I was successful in just not quitting. But then I said, okay, you say you believe in God. You believe that all things are possible, that everything works together for good. Well, how are you demonstrating this? By giving up. But you could not have told me anything. I don't care what anybody said. Those first few days, I was through. So I want to let you know that college is a good choice. It was for me. And I can't, when they say you can never go home again, I probably can't. Because when I go home, the first thing people used to say a lot, you think you're better than anybody. No. And that used to just destroy me because I took the time and the effort to go to school, to improve my diction, to improve my writing skills, my communication skills. I did all of that. I never tried to tell anybody I was better, but that's what they'll tell you. That's what they'll say to discourage you. But I want you to know your effort may be better, and it probably is, because everybody has a chance to achieve. But I want any of you who's contemplating college right now, keep contemplating it. But most importantly, do it. Go to school. Go to school. As I said, that would have been the biggest tragedy of my life had I stopped because I lost that last chapter of my dissertation. I think that I wanted to go all the way. And sometimes being successful means going all the way. I wanted to increase the probability of success in my life. I wanted to have a successful life. I wanted to be something for my mother, for my brothers, for my sisters. I still believe today that, again, college was one of the most important steps I took on my journey of success. Being successful and going for higher education, I believe in it and I recommend it. Most of all, I feel that I have contributed something to the many, many lives with whom I've come into contact over these 20-odd years of teaching. I'm not an easy instructor, and I don't take mess, but I love each and every one of my students. I have loved them, and I want the best for them. And when I come in and see someone with talent and ability, and they're just ho-hum, who wants to be ho-hum? Who wants to be mundane? Who wants to be ordinary? Not me, especially when they're gifted. I've never met a Wilberforce University student who was not the absolutely most intelligent, bright light on this planet. But they didn't believe it. Talking about success. Most of all, perhaps I feel I'm successful because my life story, although peppered with self-doubt and the inability at times to see my way, my life story, in spite of many moments that have made me think I wasn't going to make it, and in some endeavors, or make it through some of the storms of life that I've been through, and I've been through some. I can't even begin to enumerate them for you, but believe me, but in my weakness, I know that God has strengthened me. And he said to be strong. I've gone through some storms, right? Personally, professionally. I've had some health issues, but God delivered me from them all. I want to tell you, all. Professionally, as I said, I can't even begin to tell you what came against me professionally, because I'm going to talk. I'm a straight shooter. I'm very honest. And I call things the way they are. Okay? And if you're not right, there's a problem that I have. So, my life story is one that I can look back over and say, it's been a good life. It's been a productive life, a fruitful life. It's been a life that God has filled with love, belief, and I trust in him. I claim success and a successful life because, number one, I can sleep at nights. I sleep soundly at night. I can say honestly that I don't mean anybody any harm, but I mean you good. And I hope you will accept that. All right? I've got to be me. Well, how others act in their demonstration of love and concern, it's not Tanya Mora. So I've got to be me. I claim success because I can say that one of my greatest gifts is the gift and the ability to love. I can forgive I can say I can have joy. And man, I can say I can dance. You know, people can't even dance nowadays. I stopped that for a long time, but I started up again. I had trouble with my knees, both knees replaced. But God put that ability in my heart again. And I'm telling you, I'm just having fun. I can say that I'm successful because I try to help others where I can, when and where I can. I can say I'm successful because I can get up every morning and say, this is the best day I've ever lived. It is filled with perfect peace, perfect love, perfect joy, perfect success, perfect wisdom, power, understanding, prosperity. I name it. I say I'm anointed by God and I do his will by the renewing of my mind. I tell myself this. I get strength in the word to help me to move on, to move forward, to go up and go on. There's some days I wake up and I can feel that spirit of depression or the spirit of fear and all that. I talk it out. I use the word. This is success for me. Successful that I have not lost my mind. Successful that I still can feel what I feel and move forward. I can say a whole lot about what I think success is. What's my definition of success is. But here's a revelatory thought. Maybe success is doing the things we should. The good things that we can. In my definition of success, I can say that God has never failed me. He has never misdirected me, nor has he ever left me. Even though there were many moments in my life where I felt alone, where I felt unloved, where I felt again that tomorrow didn't matter because of how I was feeling. But he was always there. That spirit of positivity, he was always there. In my definition of success, I know that the failure is not in God, it's in me. It's in the choices that I make. It's in what I choose to see. It is my faith. It is my ability every day, every single day to put on the whole armor. And half the time I'm struggling. I'm carrying this or I'm carrying that. I'm dragging this armor alone. But I put on the whole armor of God. I have my faith. I have my peace. I have my joy. I have the patience that I need most times. The failure's not in God. It's in me. The Bible says that we should walk in the Spirit and we will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. And man, there's a lot to lust after in this world. A whole lot. There's a lot that we can get confused by. There's a lot of things that will draw us in and pull us in and never let us go again. I thank God. A lot of my friends when I was coming up were on drugs. They were on drugs. They just did so many things that were anti-body. I used to say, thank you, God, Mama. The only problem I look at when it comes to that is overeating. But I want to tell you, I wouldn't touch drugs. I would drink socially every once in a while. When I had my daughter, I haven't had a sip of alcohol since. I want to tell you that. And I feel that my health conditions disappeared as they did because of the shape of my body. I taught step aerobics for 10 years. And again, with the yo-yo weight going up and down, that's not good for you. So I've asked God to help me with that. But I want to tell you, there's a lot to lust after. But you've got to make up your mind that there's a higher purpose than this lust. There's something I want to achieve more than I want this. And if you've got individuals in your life who are pulling you down, dragging you down, not encouraging you, you need to step away. Because I tell you, you and God are a majority. And the more you believe, the more you know him, the better your relationship with him, the more successful you'll be. So again, it says at the end of that verse, and we cannot do the things that we should. The things that we should. Maybe that is the ultimate success. Doing all the things that we know we should. I want to end with this $1 million question. And it is this. What does the Bible say success is? Okay. Some of you who don't believe, you're not into that. That's no problem. Okay. I'm not trying to force that down you. But I want to tell you, you talk about success. That's how I feel I made it. But what does it say? It says that success is obedience to God, empowered by the Spirit of God, motivated by love for God, and directed toward the advancement of the kingdom of God. I said, oh my goodness. You mean to tell me the Bible even has a definition of success? Yes. And you can find it in Mark 1:15, Acts 19:4. My goodness. Something to think about and to do on your journey of success. We sing a song in my church. It says, take the Lord God with you everywhere you go. You're going to need him. You're going to need him everywhere you go. And we sang that when I was a little child. I didn't understand all that was being said. But every chance I get, I put that back into my computer. And I want to take him wherever I go. Success, obedience to God. How should this change our own definition of success? Or should it? It's up to you. You make the choice. God said, on this day I set before you good and evil, life and death. We set before you in your success movement the things that you need, the things you want, and you've got to choose them, but most of all, you've got to use them. I've been told that life is a gift from God, and that what you make of it is your gift to God. I want you all to be successful. You may not do it my way, but when I've got, as I said, the kind of heart and mind that I have now where I can sleep, and I know that God is real, I know that my future is bright. My best days are in front of me, not in back of me. And I want you all to know and have that hope of glory that life for you is going to be rich, prosperous, abundant, and filled with nothing but love. I also say this every morning, then I'm through. I know and believe in the love that God has for me. The Bible says we know and believe in the love that God has for us. Because God is love. And he who abideth in love abideth in God, and God in him. And that's what I say. And again, I want to thank all of you for listening to me, to indulging me, and for the opportunity to share a part of my life with you. I love again what I do, and I want you to. I'm done.
Oh, Dr. Moore, that was so amazing. Your journey to success. I was like, let me sit back here and not show my face because it was so many moments of your presentation that resonated with things that I am dealing with directly. So I truly appreciate you. I'm going to put you backstage for a little bit so we can hear Miss Colston's journey to success, and then we're going to have a discussion. But thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Shantae.
Hey, Monique.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
That is also sitting here trying to like dry my eyes. You know, you probably can't see it through the glasses, but it's always a pleasure when you have someone that you look up to.
Yes.
to give such words, and they don't even know that they are like on point to things that you're dealing with. So I'm like this and behind the scenes.
Yes,
wow.
wonderful words of inspiration from Dr. Mora. Wonderful.
Yes, and then I think Tiffany done joined in as well. I don't know. I don't see her. I see her on here, but I'll go backstage and see. But yes, that was wonderful. So it's kind of like, let me breathe. So today I truly feel like I'm amongst family. Me, Shantae and I go way back.
Yes. Actually, we started in middle school. I went to Lowe, so I started in middle school with you.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yes.
we tell
So
people
7th grade on us. So we're aging. I'm aging. We're aging ourselves with 7th grade. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was back when we really thought we was at a school that was set up like Fame, but I'm not gonna.
Yes. I thought it was though. I mean, hey, I had a great time.
I did. I must admit, although I don't really connect as much with people
right
from there, I miss it, but I am going to turn the stage over to you so you can share your journey to success with us. And just let us know what you've been up to.
Okay. Well, for those that know me, I am Shantae Costin, and I am currently a computer science teacher. I'm in East Cleveland City Schools in Ohio, at Shaw High School. We have one high school. And when Monique asked me to do this, I was like, success. Like for me, I don't see myself as successful. It just took me probably this year or maybe the last few months with my circle of friends. Pretty much they're like my extended family here, to really make me realize that I am on this journey to success. I started from in Dayton. Like I said, me and Monique went to Colonel White. And then from there, I just knew I had to leave. Like Dayton was just too small for me. So I ended up attending Maryland Eastern Shore, which is an HBCU, a school I've never even heard of. I just happened to fill out the application, the HBCU common application. And I had several HBCUs send me information, scholarships and whatnot. And Maryland piqued my interest, and they actually set me up for a scholarship competition. I didn't get it, but the head person in charge was nice enough to send my stuff over to the honors program, and pretty much sight unseen, no interview, I got in, and they gave me a full scholarship. And so my grandmother said, well, it's near Virginia. I want to go on vacation. So we ended up flying down, me and my grandmother. I went there and I fell in love. And, that was like the best 4 years of my life. I learned a lot about myself. I did a lot of growing up. And the cool part about Maryland Eastern Shore is there's a PWI up the street called Salisbury University, and they have several dual degree programs. So I ended up getting 2 college degrees from 2 separate campuses, and I graduated from 2 colleges in one day. I got my bachelor's in sociology from Maryland Eastern Shore, and I got my social work degree from Salisbury University. And after that, some things happened back here in Ohio. So I decided to go not home, but close to home. So I ended up going to Case for a grad school because I just really didn't feel like I wasn't ready to get into the workforce. So I went and got my master's in social work from Case, Western Reserve University. And after that, I started working at a nonprofit. And they had us set in the Cleveland school. So I was working with high school kids. We had, each of us had 30 freshmen, and our goal was to get them out of high school and into something post-secondary, military, career school, like a career technical program or college. And after that was done, I ended up getting my social work license, ended up working at another nonprofit and as a school-based therapist. And I ended up being in actually East Cleveland City Schools that way. And I just realized I wanted to be a teacher. And so I ended up going back to school to be a special education teacher. And actually East Cleveland gave me my first job as a special education teacher. So I was a therapist, and I'm actually working in the district. And being there a few years, I ended up getting tapped to, hey, you want to teach computer science? I'm like, sure. And next thing you know, I'm spending my summers learning how to code, and everything there is to know about computer science, I'm learning in the summer. And it was probably the most frustrating summer I've ever had in my life, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm the kind of person, I usually get things right the first time. Computer science has definitely humbled me in that regard. But once I I won't say caught the bug, or once I found that niche, I fell in love with computer science. I think computer science is a gateway that, especially, we call it BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, people of color, and other people of color. Um, it's an open doors for us, and it was just amazing, the things that I learned about in computer science. And we went from this one little introductory course to now having, I want to say 6 or 7 full courses. We have 3 teachers. I'm full time. We have one teacher that's half time, and one teacher that teaches one class. And with computer science, I was able to go to a conference and visit Facebook headquarters, because I was part of an AP Computer Science Principal Summit. We won a female diversity award because we had 50% of our students who were female took the AP exam. I became part of the inaugural class of the Computer Science Teacher Association Equity Fellows. So I started learning more about equity and inclusion, and how important it is, and realizing that everything I've already do is based on equity. And a lot of people see that success, but for me, success is when I see my students succeed. And from there, I put my kids in competitions, and we meet a lot of people. They just won second place in a data science competition, and the first place team was a all girls private school. So I told my students, second place is we all felt we won. In our hearts, we won, because second place is great. We never placed in that data science competition, and not bad for a bunch of kids from East Cleveland. And that's our little motto: not bad for a bunch of kids from East Cleveland. So their success is my success, because we're constantly knocking down those barriers, and we're constantly breaking down those stereotypes. And to me, that is success. When I see a student and the light bulb goes off, that is success. When I see them wanting to do something in the future, that is success. And I always tell my students, college was my path that I needed, but not everybody is on that path to college. Maybe you're on that path where you go to a career technical school. We have students that say, you know what, I'd rather just build computers. We have something for you now. So where you can still be successful, you can still get those certifications, you can still work in the technical field, and may not have that degree. I always say get a degree, because it opens more doors for you. But if you don't have that degree, get those certifications. I always say at least get an associate's, at a community college, because it just opens so many doors. But and I was just appointed to the Computer Science Teacher Association Board of Directors just last month, and pretty much that's it. Not Ohio, but I teach cybersecurity now. We have computer science principles. We have AP. We have a Java course that we have another teacher teaches. We also I teach A+ certification now, and pretty much whatever the students want to do or where they feel they need to go, that's where I send them. And also to mention, I also got Teacher of the Year a couple years ago for the high school and for the East Cleveland City School District, as well as being like Cyber Hero of the Month for cybersecurity. And I've spoken on some panels recently, and I've spoken at some national conferences, and I do some professional developments. But that's pretty much my journey and where I am at this point. And now we're working on our gaming team right now. So, and not only that, we have the A+ certification class. They're actually running the student help desk. We have a student help desk as well at the school. So, because with the rising need for technology and things, our students are actually, the students I have, we actually fix the Chromebooks, fix the computers, set up monitors, pretty much whatever teachers need. Because our district is so small, we don't have a lot of tech people to help out. So we pretty much take the, I want to say burden, but kind of take the workload off of them and kind of do it in-house, which actually helps the students out and helps the teachers out as well. And then we even have the students, they're pretty much running everything nowadays. And to me, that's how I see success. Like I said before, I still have a lot to do. I'm not done yet. And my journey at Shaw High School isn't finished yet. I mean, I have a lot of other plans, but like I said, I definitely see the success now. But I think success is where you're comfortable, where you are happy, where you where you're finally at a place where things are okay. It's not a struggle. And if it's a struggle, it's a happy struggle. And I'm finally at a place where things are actually going positive a lot more now. And, I'm getting requests to do things, and can you do this, or what is your opinion on this? So to me, that's my journey to success. Just a kid from Dayton, Ohio, who went to the School of the Arts, who went to an HBCU, to grad school, to social work, to special education, to now teaching computer science and, building a program. I just think it's, that's where I am. And that's actually been my journey. And I told some of my students to check in just so they could get some points. But that's pretty much, my success, my journey.
Wow. Well, it's an amazing journey. You mentioned you got Teacher of the Year. I'm going to bring Dr. Moore back in too. It's both of you all stories are like, wow. And you both met me at very interesting parts of my life. So as I'm sitting here listening to Shantae talk, I'm thinking like, oh gosh, she watched me actually mature into the adult I am now. And I'm listening to Shantae's accomplishments. I'm up here cheering in the background. I'm like, oh, she got Teacher of the Year too. Me too. So you get excited, and I'm one of those that I celebrate everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the adult that I've come to be. And to hear Dr. Moore get that presentation, I was like, I'm drying my eyes. I'm not gonna cry, and make sure nobody see me cry when we live. But I always like to give people flowers while they're living. And today is truly that moment for me to give Dr. Moore. And I know a lot of people, if you ever watch me do a platform interview, and I always talk about this professor that was that impact for me, this is her. Like, she is she is Dr. Moore. This is my Dr. Moore that I talk about, that didn't play no games. Like, she's not gonna let you. I think the class was only 1 or 2 credit hours, but it didn't matter to her. You're gonna be on class on time. If you late, she's gonna lock that door. I mean, and that was that push that I needed. Like, that made me grow up real fast. I'm like, she really ain't gonna let me in this class. So yeah, so I was glad that both of you all touched on that college piece, because she said it. She did not play. Like, Shantae, you know what kind of silly person I was in high school.
Yes.
She did not play that. Like, it was none of that. It was, you gonna be on class 5 minutes early. If you late, you on time. So that was the type of push that she gave, but she also loved us. It was like she loved me enough to say, look, that little pencil paper you did, good try, nice, but you don't come through it with a straight face. Like, Shantae, with a straight face. Like, she didn't crack a smile or nothing. And I was like, she really want me to write this over? I wrote this paper by pencil. But I love her for that, because everybody else would just let me, you know what, I'm going to let her get by. She don't really care. She turned it in. No, Dr. Moore challenged that. And I appreciate her for that, because now I'll be even hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I, anytime I can talk about how much she impacted my life, and I'm like, your students don't get it, trust me, they'll get it when they leave. Like, even before we came on live, she was like, I'm about to grade some midterms finals. I'm like, Dr. Moore, are you serious? So, but she loves what she does. And, Shantae, before you had came on, I was telling Dr. Moore, I was like, she's always been smart. I don't know why she don't, she's always been like top of class. And this was from like middle school. So it doesn't surprise me that you're doing something with robotics or you're doing something with computers.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And Dr. Moore's message when she was talking about don't be discouraged, I started thinking about you. I said, well, when I asked Shantae to come on here, she was kind of, upset about things. And one thing that I have learned, if I haven't learned anything else this whole year, it might not be your time. In God's time, it's gonna come.
That's right.
And that's something I had to learn. That is something I'm still learning, because I'm that person. I have plans. You know me. Everything is planned. Like everything has to be planned out, and it's going to be this way, and that's it. And if the plans don't work, my world is over. So I have had to learn so much. I have had to learn to, like I tell my students, take it to the chin. I've had to do that myself. I had to just take it to the chin. And you know what? The universe right now does not want, is not meant for you. If I don't get something, it's not meant for you. It's not your time. And a lot of times, I tell them, I've doubted myself in this arena of computer science, because it is so many great people I've met. Like I have met like authors, like I read their books, and I'm having hope. I'm in forums with them now, like next to these people. And I'm like, I look up to them, and Dr. Mae Jamison said it. If you're in the room, you're meant to be there.
Yeah.
And that's because I took some kids to Dr. Mae Jamison speak.
That's right.
He was speaking to me because I have a bad imposter syndrome. I'm getting over it, but
really?
It's called imposter syndrome, where you don't think you are, but people put you in a certain place, and because people have me here, and I still think I'm here.
And that's where you are.
But people see me here, and that's something I have to, elevate myself to, because there's so much stuff happening now, and I keep getting these calls, and it's just humbling because, I don't think, my mom called me 3 hours away talking about, hey, can you help me with this problem? I'm like, Mom, I'm 3 hours away. I can't help you. But, my principal thinks I just press buttons and stuff magically happens. Like, people think I press a button and stuff just poof happens. And I'm like, I said, it takes me 3-4 hours to do what you need me to do. But he said, but you just press the button. I'm like, no, I don't, sir. It doesn't work. So it's a struggle. I'm working a lot on this imposter syndrome thing, because like I said, I've been in rooms with greatness, and a lot of times I don't think I deserve to be there. But if someone invites me to the table and I'm allowed to speak at the table, clearly I belong there. So I need to own it with myself and say, you know what, this is your time. So that's when Monique asked me for success. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not successful. I'm just a computer science teacher. But that's in my head. But
wow. You got to get out your own way, girl. Well,
right.
I know. Preaching to the choir.
Right. Yes. And it's crazy. I had a student call me, and she said, I'm changing my major to computer science, and she's actually at Central State. She said she majored in music. She said, I'm changing my major to computer science. I'm like, what?
Good.
I said, really? I said, I kicked your tail. She said, I know, I can do it. Okay. And she got a 4. And if you didn't know this, Dr. Mora, we had 20, the first year I taught computer science, AP, I had 60 kids. Out of 60 kids, I had 42 kids take the exam. These are all African-American. Well, one was Latino. 42 kids took the exam, and I had 4 pass, a 10% passing rate. That's not bad for.
That isn't bad.
We celebrated.
Amen.
67% of them got a 2, which means only 9 of them got a 1. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
The following year, this past year with COVID, I had 45 kids. 22 of them took the AP exam. All 22 of them got a 3 or higher.
Wow. See? Because of you. Because of you.
And for something told me, I said, oh, y'all passing this test. And when I tell you, I've had kids cry in my class, things have been thrown across the room. They done cussed, they done had whole breakdowns, headaches, calling their mamas, cutting class, saying I'm cutting class because I ain't never coming back to see you, and I'll drag them on back. Like, you gonna take this class. Ain't nobody studying you. You ain't stupid. And they're like, I'm not taking them. Like, I had kids scared, having panic. I said, you're going to take this test and you're going to be fine.
Good.
I'm going to walk with you. And that success their success is my success.
That's right.
And when I got the scores back and they said all 22, I fell out I was screaming, crying. My neighbor thought something was wrong with me. I done called people, boo-hooing. I said, my kids did it. And they didn't believe me. And one of the young ladies at Central State, she got a 4, and she said she is loving computer science. And she said, "Oh, these classes are easy." I'm like, "Yeah,
look at that. Look at that." My
goodness, that girl! I'm so proud of you, and so proud that we are able to still be in each other's lives to see each other's journey to success. Because Jesus, I'm glad we didn't have social media when I was in high school.
Girl.
But I'm grateful for the change.
Yes. And but Monique was always the life of the party. I love it.
I believe
it. Every time I go to and she just everything was just fun and she just enjoyed life and I was not that happy. She always made me laugh. Like I just look at her and I couldn't help it. So Monique, you did make my senior year enjoyable, at least home.
Lord have mercy.
I did want to thank you for that. I mean, Monique always had managed to have fun. I just didn't understand. I'm like, it ain't never that fun. But she made any lemon. She would make lemonade, lemon pie, lemon bars.
We had to make it fun.
Yes, she definitely made school fun. So I can tell her. I can tell you that.
Spirit. That's the spirit that she exhibited all the time she was at Wilberforce. That going to do in spite of, may not want to, but going to do, the follow through, just that jovialness. As I said, a good heart. Oh my goodness. And just she didn't mind taking instructions and working as hard as she needed to work. And look at her. I told her yesterday, you're in communications. You're still there. You're still there. And that's a plus. Who else has something like this that they're doing?
Right.
It's wonderful.
And she does it wonderfully. I found out she was doing this. I'm like, this is so great. I support
you. It really
is. When I went to high school, she's doing that. Like I literally brag about Monique.
Oh God.
I brag about. I'm so serious. I do brag about. I'm like, she is doing great things. And they're like, well, who is this? I'm like, and it's called A Better Chance. And she works with kids and helps them get college scholarships. And she just does all this stuff I used to do.
All that.
Bigger scale, and it's great.
Well, I appreciate you both because you both have been truly like a blessing to know, especially, Shantae from a peer point of view. Dr. Moore from like a mentor, professor point of view, because I'm telling you, Shantae, she did not play. Like, and she was like one of them. And I ran into a bunch of professors like that at Wilberforce. And I just thought I could do what I did in high school to get my way. And it was like, no.
And I do that. That's exactly how I'm in my class. So we had a football player told his coach, the football coach told me, he said, the reason why all the kids got A's with you, and I couldn't figure out why they're passing your class, which is harder than their core classes. They said they'd rather do your work and not hear your mouth or the wrath. Because I say the wrath thou shalt fall upon thee. So the kids say we don't want to hear her mouth. We don't want to know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen if we don't get our work done. And I'm like, I don't say nothing bad to y'all. I give them speeches. They want to hear the speeches. It's consequences. So they'd rather just get their work done.
We got comments in the chat. I've been posting as many as I can, but Mr. Anthony H. Brown.
Hey, Mr. Brown.
He's telling
my guy.
He said preach. He is actually the and he also said you got to get out of your own way. That's something he constantly tells me. That's why when I hear you say,
you know what, he's told me that several times when we've had our conversations. Because he does this little I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday walks. He does I don't know if he doesn't do. I don't know if he does them now, but I would follow him on his Wednesday walks where he would just talk about things. And I would just sit and listen. And I'm like, man, he's speaking to me.
Always. So he does the inspire me now too. But he's also one of my mentors. I got about 3 people that mentor to me because a lot of times I don't see like you. I didn't know the name to it, but I don't see the success that other people see. Which is weird, but it's just something, it's something I have in my own head. And lately I'm learning to walk into my destiny as people say. So I'm learning. But he motivates, and he's also the president of UNCF. So he also helps a lot, with us getting schools to come on our Wednesday show, or helping our kids navigate through different systems. So
and HBCU alumni chapter here in Cleveland.
So yeah, we all work together, and every person that, like I said, every person that has heard me speak on a platform as a guest or something, they know of Dr. Moore, but they have not got to meet her. So I'm so glad that she was like, yes, I'll be on there. I almost fell out my chair because I was like, she for real? She not gonna show. Because I am like, even her motivational words today, I'm sitting there taking notes like, okay, that's true. That's facts. And I know that everything she said was spiritual led, because you don't know what I'm dealing with. And for her to speak life into it 2 days in a row, I'm like, come on, somebody. And then, and then I have my friend from school that's like, wait a minute, I was dealing with this too. And I know, Shantae, I have been in your shoes. I won Teacher of the Year. I won Teacher of the Year for the region and district. And you get to the final stage, and you feel like you're not appreciated. Just the stuff that you done told me along, I'm excited. I'm like, okay, well, how can we help your students get this? That's amazing. That is amazing what you do. Like, but that's always been your thing. Like, you sit up here today before we went live, you're like, I was 10 in the class. I said, well, I ain't gonna say my number in the class.
I was number 10 too. I think our number was 256 in high school.
We had 268 or something,
257. I remember.
We had like 263,
and I'm telling you, those ones above me, oh man, they had it going on.
Well, my daughter has a 4.0 and is like number 45.
Wow. Jesus, I can't compete with that. Well, I mean, I can now in my my doctoral and stuff. I can compete now, but back then, Jesus, no. Goodness. Dr. Moore, you said you was 10 too?
10 out of 257.
Jesus.
East High School.
In Cleveland?
Yes. I'm supposed to have my 50th year reunion.
You don't look, you look
year.
East
I
High School
graduated
is now the athletic center. Is the athletic department now.
What's the athletic department?
East High School, because I
know there's no school anymore.
No, and what happened was, some years ago, the indoor track collapsed.
Wow,
the roof collapsed. Well, I think it was the gym. Something collapsed, and they moved all the kids out. They rebuilt the gym so they could have the championships there.
Yes,
it was bigger. But it's now the athletic department, and they have like the school psychologist there, the athletic department. So they still use it, but they use it for the district, CMSD district, like business. I guess part of the board of education's there. So athletics is there, and school psychologists are there. I'm not sure how there. I know athletics is there.
Well, we have no place now. So, and I haven't heard anything from anybody about our 50th reunion. I got on the internet, tried to find information. So I'm going to start back again this week. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I did not know, and I just learned something new about Dr. Moore. I did not know she was from Cleveland. All this time I'm thinking she just only was at Wilberforce.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Just
when I was going to inside, that's at 7725 Superior on 79.
Just when she said that, I'm like, I know exactly what she's talking about, because that's about 10-15 minutes from Shaw. So
they destroyed and torn down all of the buildings.
Yep, and they just tore down Shaw Stadium too.
That bad.
Yeah, they just tore down Shaw Stadium. They're making a building.
They did.
They just did it, I think, last week this past week.
I was about to say, because my mom we have our family home on Rosemont.
Yep, I know exactly where that is. Yep.
You know where that is? Right off of Euclid.
Yep. Yeah, they just tore down the stadium. They closed Roselle also. So
No, they didn't.
yeah, we had
They closed a lot. Remember the university, the hospital that used to be down there, Huron Road?
Yeah, that's gone. They now have Stephanie Tubbs Center now.
I know.
They redid it. So I mean, they're trying to do things. We're getting they're actually putting some towers. We're getting broadband towers in East Cleveland now, so we can. Because we have the worst broadband in the entire state of Ohio. So we're worse than the rural, like we are worse than the rural areas. Like it's worse than there. So that's coming in the next couple of weeks. So I just got tagged to be a part of that, Monique. I just got for that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. That is interesting that both of you all are actually like in the same area.
Yeah.
And y'all like, oh, you remember this? I'm like, I've been to Cleveland a couple times. The only thing I remember is the Hall of Fame Museum in the Flats. That tell you how long.
Yes. And the Flats looks different now.
That's the only thing I remember from Cleveland. And a small plate is like a small little restaurant. I don't know if it was called Kim's or something.
Oh, Kim's Wings.
Yes. That's the only thing I know about Cleveland.
Did anybody have any questions online about anything they wanted us to talk about?
I don't see any questions. I see a lot of I see a lot of comments of
CMSD Professional Development Center. That's what it's called. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I knew it was something.
And there's a lot of preaches and thumbs up type of things that are in the chat that you probably could see if you watch the replay. But for the most part, they really aren't asking very many questions this week. But what I do know, a lot of people will watch the replay. And if you're watching the replay, again, please leave your comments. I will make sure that both of these ladies get them. And also make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we always have something positive to talk about on here. Or we have distinguished guests like today. I'm not gonna cry until we probably get off, because Dr. Moore is here and it's like, yes, I showed her, I did it.
And I do want to add one thing, Monique. I was just reading this article someone posted in a computer science chat. They were saying how there's only 875 NFL jobs available when someone comes out of college. However, in computer science, there's 10 jobs for every one person that comes out of computer science. Yes,
I need to change
there's
up.
10 jobs for every one person. There's 10 jobs if you major in
computer science.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm telling my students all the time, to the point where we're actually getting ready to. I referee basketball too, so a couple of officials are programmers, and I'm like, "Where do you work?" And they're like, "We work here," and they even teach more classes, and we're doing this and this and this, and I'm teaching my kids Python, and one company said, "Oh, that's what we program in Python." I'm like, "Yes." Someone said, "We do Java." We teach Java. We're doing that. Yes, and I just found that statistic out that there's so many tech jobs, and there's no one to fill them.
That's true.
So honestly, tech is pretty much the way to go, even if it's not computer science, game design, IT, even if you don't want to program, but you want to build or fix things on the IT side. We found a job at the Cleveland Clinic for tech support. I forgot the official name of it. It was $60,000 for 2 years experience.
I'm in the wrong profession.
So we told the kids, if you stay with us for 2 years and run the student help desk and get your certifications, you can leave high school and go straight to the Cleveland Clinic and make $60,000.
That's experience. That's good.
And that's experience, and we're working on getting them internships. So anybody who doesn't know what they want to do, look into IT, information technology, look into computer science. And if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to do a 4-year college, because the 4-year colleges are still working on trying to streamline computer science, community colleges actually have it down. Community colleges is where it's at when it comes to IT.
Really?
When it comes to information technology and certifications,
wow,
community colleges have it down because they focus strictly on technology and that IT piece, where the 4 years, they want you to do all the liberal arts stuff on top of your
right, liberal art.
You know, where the associates, they just do strictly this IT work with a couple liberal arts. Like you have to have an English, you have to have a math, but they strictly, you know, when you leave, like for example, Kyle Community College, Tri-C, you walk out with 5 certifications in 2 years.
Wow.
Five IT certs in 2 years. And that's just for IT. Then they have they have so many things you can do, but for the first 2 years, it's 5 of them. And I was telling my students, if you don't want to go to 4 year, go to Tri-C. You start with us, get some certifications. Tri-C already said they'll take them and give them credit for it. So, which cuts their time off.
Yes.
Wow. So definitely anybody who doesn't know what they want to do with themselves, look into technology, because you will always have a job. And a lot of companies will pay for you to go back to school.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I know when I was at Wilberforce, we had the co-op program that was kind of like it let you try the job before you actually got the job. Mm-hmm. And that's how I learned that psychology and social work was not for me, because that's when I found my heart was bigger than my job.
Yes.
So yeah, that's good. I didn't know that I might need to change fields. You done told me.
I've been doing my research, and it's funny because every time we do a new class, they say, well, in order for you to teach the class, you got to learn the stuff and get your cert. I'm like, okay. So every summer I'm learning something new to teach them. So that's why, like this year, the whole thing is cybersecurity. We already got robotics under our belt. So already got Python, already got I don't do Java. I have a teacher that does Java. She loves it. Java's not for me. So, but, you know, we have a student now, he's a junior and he loves IT. He loves it. Like people swear by this kid. Like a teacher gave him a tip because he was able to change out the hard drive because he had the red. I said, you have the red eye of death, man. He's like, what does that mean? I said, there is no saving this thing. He said, I need my hard drive. I said, let me take it. I'm going to give it to Angelo, and Angelo going to work on this. So Angelo did his 1, 2. He's like, I'm going to change out the CPU. I said, don't touch that CPU because you're going to mess up the motherboard. He was like, oh. I said, what else should you do? He said, I'm going to switch the hardware out. I said, yep, here's a CPU. Here's a case tower from another computer. I said, do your magic. Let me know. Come back 30 minutes later. This kid has literally changed out the hard drive, switched hard drives out. He tested it. The teacher's name came up when he hooked it back up. And next thing you know, he gives us his wife's laptop.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. And you sitting there second guessing why you don't deserve a seat at the table. I can't even understand what I'm like, what is she talking about? I know what it looked like, but so I fix computers now too.
Wow.
You better go making waves. Black women in STEM, that's a very powerful position.
Yeah. So like I said, my success is when the kids are successful. So, and like I said, I have kids that call me, they're changing their majors to computer science or something, you know, close to that. And that warms my heart because my goal is not for anybody to be a computer science. I would love for you guys, you know, just for, you know, you're always going to have a job, but, you know, my goal is for them to learn how to deal with adversity because a lot of them don't know. Have that growth mindset that I had to learn later to deal with failure. Cause I'm like, I don't fail. This a failure feels like, oh my, like I literally, Monique will tell you, I don't fail. Mm-hmm. If I would cry when I got a B, tell her, Monique, I cried. Oh God.
We used to look at her like she was crazy. I'm like, that's a blessing. It's a blessing in high school. She's in there, what is this? We looking at her like, this girl crazy.
I would cry when I get a B. Now I'm like, oh, I got a B. Great. Thank you. It's passing. I told one kid, you know, C's get degrees, boy. Come on.
Hello. That's right.
I would see Monique. I changed.
Yes.
But I always tell my students how to deal with failure because that's something I tell them. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. If anybody asks, so now they all see this video like you really was like I cry when I got a B, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Yeah. So those honor students I had to they're me. They don't know what failure is like. So I had to. Once they got done crying, I'm like, you finished? They're like, yeah. I said, okay. So you failed. Okay, it didn't work. So what you gonna do about it? Mm-hmm. I can fix it. Yes, you can. So let's fix it.
That's good.
And they fixed it. And so now they're in college, and this one young lady, she's the only black female, is one white female, and all the rest are white male.
Wow.
And she said they cannot believe that she actually knows something in computer science. And she was actually teaching them a couple of concepts. Like, she was actually leading the discussion, and they couldn't believe it. They were like aghast that she actually knew something.
That's good, though. I mean, you planted that seed, and it's really important how you plant a seed in school and how you interact with your scholars.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in the classroom, I would pretty much be the same way. Like, look, it's no failure. Failure is not an option. But that's the seeds that was planted in our life too.
Right.
So yeah, and before we get out of here, because this hour done went by so fast.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness.
Time flies when you're having good fun and people to talk to that can just pour into your life. But I know that we are dealing with COVID, and I don't know. Are you all back to fully attendance yet, or y'all still?
We're hybrid, so it's 2 kids. It's like A through L, Monday, Tuesday, M through Z, Thursday, Friday, and Wednesday. We're all virtual with 30-minute classes, are 30 minutes on Wednesdays. And we've been doing that since January 19th. And there are some students who get a special waiver to go 4 days a week, depending upon like they have to have a meeting. Like something like if a student is struggling or like, look, I really need to be in school all 4 days, then those students they have to have a whole approval meeting. But we do have some kids that come 4 days a week, and then we have some kids that are just strictly virtual. And I pretty much I'm on individual learning plans at this point with some kids because they're not going to come back, but they all do their work. So my philosophy, as long as you're working and communicating with me, I'm okay. So I do have some kids that if I put 10 assignments, sometimes I'll put assignments out 2-3 weeks ahead of time, they'll do them all, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, so we're on a hybrid schedule right now. But we just this is our last day of spring break, so we're back to school tomorrow. And we have 8 weeks left, and we are done. So we finish Memorial Day weekend. So I think the 27th is our last day of school, May 27th.
Oh wow, not much longer.
Not much longer. Not much longer. But I cannot wait till we are back to quote unquote normalcy.
Me too.
Because 5 days a week, I didn't realize how much I missed them and missed that. Like the relationship building was really hard this year, especially with kids that didn't know me. The ones that knew me, we were okay, but the ones that didn't know me were like, oh my God, this lady is just nuts and she's mean. And depending upon who says something about me, you might get something good, you might get something not so good. Oh, but I just can't wait to get back so we can kind of, especially with field trips. I'm always taking kids on work field trips and college tours, things like that, so I just can't wait till we get back so we can start doing those things again. Because I always like to expose kids to like what Monique does. I like to do those college tours because even if you don't like that college, you know what to look for. You know what you like, you know what you don't like.
That's true.
So, and that's what I believe in college tours. I always tell the kid, well, I don't want to go to that school. You don't have to go. But I want you to know what they like and what you don't like. I don't want to go to private school or public school or a school that's religious. You know all that. So yeah, that's why I can't wait to get back to.
Oh wow, Dr. Morris, Wilberforce, they're hybrid too?
Yes.
Oh
wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. So that's a big change.
Classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Certain classes Tuesday and Thursday. You have at least one in-person class per week, but that's it.
Wow.
And then the other 2 are virtual.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's a big change.
It is a big change.
And then we also have a Zoom room. So I have a Zoom room. So they have this 52-inch TV in the back of my room with a camera on top.
Wow.
Yeah. And then so like this display here, it'd be on a 52-inch TV. So all the kids can actually dial in and I can see all their faces on at least their names because they don't show their faces at home, but they participate, they participate in the chat or they'll shout out. So it's like we're having class, and depending upon the kid, they'll start talking to each other. But yeah, so we have a Zoom rooms also. Not everybody, but some teachers have a Zoom room. So I'm that. Oh yeah, I'm also the tech guinea pig too. When they have something new, they give it to me to try. So
Hey.
we have Zoom rooms. So kids do log in virtually. So if they're at home, they can still log in on their whatever day they're supposed to be on.
Yes.
Wow. That is very that would have to be challenging. I don't think I
Yeah.
would be able to be a college student in a virtual world because I needed that TLC.
I needed it. I need that human contact too. So I don't do online school. I don't do online classes personally. I have to be in person. So
That's right. That's right.
Oh God, I hope this is over. I haven't got, I have my own beliefs of what's going on, but I just pray every day that it gets better and the numbers go down. I live in a state where, he just out the blue was like, no mask.
no mask.
Yeah. I wear mine everywhere and then some, so it's different. It's very different. But I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate you two for coming on today. We went a little bit over, but I'm sorry. It's hard to stop when the conversation is so good. And, it doesn't matter because this is mine. It'd be different. It'd be different if somebody else owned it, but I do. So it doesn't matter. We go 4 hours, but we won't. But I'm just saying we can go as long as we want. Before we get out of here, do you have any parting words or words of encouragement that you both shared in both of your presentations? So good. But did you want to emphasize before we leave on something that you would tell someone that is getting ready to go to school right now, like an incoming freshman?
I would just tell them to set goals, set objectives, and try to meet them. Set goals. I mean, and a big thing is manage your time.
Oh, hello.
A lot of success is time management. I like to give that there's a presentation that I have that I give to students when they want me to do it for the freshman seminar classes. But managing time is absolutely essential. Now, again, we say that we manage time, and time should not manage us. But once you have a plan, work that plan. And again, I believe in having fun. All during the week, I would study like crazy, and I would work. But come Friday, man, I was like a maniac. I went out and danced and had a great time. So you got to mix everything, but you cannot just party. A lot of success, again, is doing what you should and what you want. So I would say set your goals, set objectives, set strategies. Strategies are what it takes to accomplish your objectives. And then say, these are the things I'm going to do. I have even a schedule that I share. Block out your time. Put in everything that you want to put in, even work, your sleep time. But when you manage time, you'll be surprised at the things that you can get done, the things that you can accomplish. So that's what I would say. And again, if there's anybody who wants to go to technical school, college, 2-year, 4-year, whatever, don't just want to do it.
Yes, do it. And it
really is an important step on your journey forward professionally.
And then to add to Dr. Moore, everything she was saying, surround yourself with people that are going to hold you accountable. That's true. The thing too, because now I'm surrounding myself. I have this, group, and we work together, but they're like not just coworkers or friends, they're like sisters to me.
Yes.
And we hold each other accountable, and it's a beautiful thing. I know, Monique, you made a post about you cheering for success, but sometimes people envy you who you think are your friends. Get those people that, we all hold each other accountable. 2 of them are going back to school for principal licensure. And, once she's studying for her computer. So I'm like, hey, did you study today? Hey, what do you need? And then they hold me accountable. They're like, hey, did you finish this application?
Did you finish?
So we always hold each other account. We celebrate our victories. We let each other have our, one-day pity party. And then after that, get back to business. You done? Yeah, get back to business. So, and I think you need to have that group of people that's going to accountability buddy. We keep with the word we have accountability buddy. That's a big word. So someone that's going to hold you accountable. So like that. So like Dr. Morris said, have somebody hold you accountable with that. With the schedule, we check in on each other. Sometimes we we have a group chat. Sometimes we have to call each other individually and get each other together, but that's the biggest thing. You don't have to have a group. You can have just one other person, but that one person that, that you trust, and that's going to check you. Because sometimes you need to get checked. Even as an adult, I still get checked. Like, you need
That's
to do,
right.
get your life together, but it has helped me streamline and get to where I am now, where I'm still humble, but like we talked before, where that imposter syndrome is slowly going away. It's called imposter syndrome, Monique. And a lot of Black women have it. Believe it or not, we have it, because we're ingrained not to be quote unquote successful. We're ingrained to be in the background, and that's it. Subservient, yes. And so we feel like we're not ever going to be good enough because that's what we've been ingrained to be. And that's where that imposter syndrome comes from. So we never think we're good enough, even though we're rock stars. So,
Okay, you take me to school because that's
yes, girl, you are a rock star. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud of you and Dr. Moore. I'm so glad that I was able to give you your flowers while you alive, because this really made my day. See, I'm not that silly little freshman with that paper no more.
And now I know anybody that go to Wilberforce, okay, y'all better go. Dr. Moore ain't playing with y'all. Who is that? You'll find out. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You know her. I met her, and she act like me. So, or I act like her. So, be ready.
You see it, right?
And honestly, Shantae, she is the best cheerleader in the world.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like she told me about myself, but she loved on me all years.
And that's what we do.
And was like, look, we got past that.
Iron fist with a velvet glove. That's what.
Hello.
Iron fist with a velvet glove. Someone told me I have that. I have an iron fist with a velvet glove, and that's what it is.
I like that.
Yes. Yes. Iron fist with a velvet glove, because that's what it is, Dr. Moore. We got to love on our kids. We got to love on them, but they need that structure.
They do. We all did.
We all do.
Mm-hmm. She provided that in every class. I said, okay, I got her for one class, and I passed that one. Then turned around, see her name on my schedule again. I said, Jesus. but it taught me, like, my work habits in high school. Some days I came to class, some days I didn't. Some days I felt like staying in all 3 lunches, some days I didn't.
Monique had a great time in high school.
And that was just my thing.
It all worked together for good, didn't it?
Yeah. And didn't it? I said, I look back at that, I thank God. I said, if I didn't do that, now I don't know how to reach out to kids and teach them, look, you don't want to go that route. Go the easy route. So when you get up in age and you're ready to go to school, you have all these things ready to go. But Shantae did touch on friends. And I was telling Dr. Moore, I was like, no. She said, well, what changed? I said, my roommate. My roommate was an honor student, so I said, shoot, I got to get my game together. I can't be looking. She getting all these awards and she tutoring people, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, how you do this? How you do this again? So yes, and I do again. Both of your messages. If you watching on the replay, please take time. You might need to take notes because both of them gave some powerful nuggets that can teach you about life and going to school.
Yeah.
So, did you have any other words that you want to leave to somebody before we end it? Y'all both like, no, we have told them.
Nah, just believe in yourself.
I want to wish everybody good success. Good success.
And believe in yourself. Like Dr. Moore said, just do it. And like from the words of Mae Jameson, if you're in the room, you deserve to be there. You belong there. You belong. You deserve it. And but you got to believe you deserve it.
That part.
Got to believe it.
Shantae, I'm about to be your accountability buddy. How you just said it. So next time I hear you talking about what you can't do and why you don't deserve, I'm like, this girl is creating programs and fixing computers. I had to throw one away because I couldn't figure out why the black screen just went black. And
it might have been just the light went off. The probably went down.
Girl, So no, I will definitely be that for you. And Dr. Moore, I'm gonna call you and pick your brain when I need to, when I feel like I done hit a bump or I just need a good word.
Please do.
You don't
You're
know how
welcome
that
anytime.
10 minutes yesterday. You had me feeling like I could walk on water when I got off the phone with you. I said, I am empowered. She said it.
We are. We are.
So, I mean, and sometimes we just need that.
We do.
So I truly, truly appreciate both of you all. And if you're watching, like, comment, share. Like I said, both of these ladies have impacted my life as a peer and as a scholar in her class. And Lord, she just don't know that how happy I am for her to come on, both of them to come on and share their stories with you today. So like, share, comment, reach out. And if you would like to be a guest or a future person to tell your story, please just reach out to me directly or inbox, and we will allow you that time. Thank you, and we will see you on Wednesday when we have Jarvis College as well as possibly North Carolina A&T admissions on. So thank you to my guests and to our sponsors and people that are blowing up the chat, because I see it moving, but I can't push the button quick enough. So see you all next time.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.